welcome to a hot episode of POPradio. We haven't had one of these in a very long time.
Yes, sir.
But of course, we just, had to adjust to the switch up and the things of the things.
Yeah.
So I do have my man Moochie with me today.
That's right. We're going back to back. We're saying POPcast. Now we're saying POPradio together. I'm never leaving you,
Oh my gosh.
Excited for a brand new season of amazing interviews with amazing artists.
Yes, I'm quite keen about today's artist as well, who has definitely been a trailblazer in his genre, but also been really dope as a DJ.
Yes,
recently won himself an award. Everything is just opening up for this guy. So I think it's going to be dope just to kind of find out a little bit more about Shimza today,
Absolutely. Lots to talk about with Shimza, from the music to the and the ha-ha. We're going to touch on everything.
Yeah, man. So keep it locked right here on POPradio.
Yes, sir.
What up, party people? Welcome to a hot episode of the POPradio. And we haven't had an episode like this in a very long time. Obviously, things are changing up, but it also means we still need to move with the times and also kind of celebrate exactly what's happening in and around South Africa. And today, we do have a hot guest with us who is going to be chatting to us about his life, his music, his business, and his international life, because clearly he doesn't like Johannesburg anymore. What's up, Shimza?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, man.
Did I catch you off guard there?
Yeah, no, that last one was a bit.
Yeah, welcome home.
Welcome home. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us, bro.
No,
thank you for coming through for POPradio. I think it's also one of those interviews that maybe have been a long time coming. I think we've kind of dabbled with wanting to bring you on here for some time, but I think everything happens in its time, in its place, and finally got you in the building. So I think we want to also kind of take a little bit of a trip down memory lane to kind of see where Shimza was to the man that he is today. And I think a lot of people who do know your journey and have spoken to you about the things that you've kind of gone through, we all know that, you're a child from Tembisa, because you're always putting on your hood and making sure that people recognize that you're from there. But what is it about Tembisa that still kind of speaks to you today, from that little kid that grew up back then?
I think the fact that I'm from there, you can't forget home. Like even today, I just won an award, and the first place that I can go and celebrate is Tembisa.
Yeah.
Because those are the people that were with me when no one else outside of Tembisa knew me. So the foundation is quite strong, and I want to keep it as solid as possible.
And growing up in Tembisa, every hood has its own heroes, people that you look up to. Before we start looking up to any internationals, before we start looking up to anybody outside where we come from, we kind of have people that inspire us where we're from. Who are those people that when you're growing up were letting you know that, you can not just reach for your dreams, but you can become anything that you want?
I think DJ Spoo is one of them, obviously, because he's one of the biggest exports out of Tembisa. And then there are like locals, like businessmen that I grew up around, like Kenny Mameja, Tloghi, who used to own Caprivi. I used to book Cosmic Caprivi. There's a lot of them, but you take bits and pieces from different people, like the DJs from Tembisa, There's a lot that I learned from just being around them while I was growing up, And I sort of took the bits and pieces, and that formed who I am, who is now Shimza today.
That's dope, man. It's nice that you can always kind of look back at some of the people who have had such a big influence into your career, had also had an influence on your life. One of those people who I actually saw recently, I think I was at an event or something, when I saw him walk past, I was like, hey, Gonje, Brajo. Brawili, who used to manage Joe's Butchery, rather. What influence did he have on your career? Because I know in the beginning, he was always like the go-to guy when it came to Shimza.
Yeah, Brawili was the guy that took me from like that Tembisa DJ to like, okay, let's push this thing a notch up, He introduced me to the market in Alex, which played a big role in exporting me to like Soweto and like the other places like Bokatleong, So he really, because he understood the ground in and around Gauteng, He knew where Vinny, Christos were playing, or Skidos. He knew the promoters, so he was able to call people people and say, hey man, please put on this guy for this festival, for this event. So like he really took me out of the hood and like sort of gave me a more regional appeal, if I can put it that way, you know. And yeah, he's still around, and
Where
I'm
did you guys
happy.
find each other? Because for somebody to believe in you the way that he did, there was obviously something that you did to impress him.
You know, the funny thing is that Prawili was manager of Vini and Christos, and he was running the South African Music Conference with them, you know, which I attended, and I won the DJ competition on the last day of that festival, of that conference, you know. And funny enough, he's from Tembisa. So it was like, okay, here's this young kid from my hood and I've got the access. So let me put my resources and my access behind him so that he can sort of push, you know. And that's how we got into contact, and that's how we clicked, and we worked together for a very long time. Yeah.
Do you think that, because I feel like for as long as you've existed and has been a national DJ, people have always also known you as a guy who throws his own events. It seems like your name is attached to your own properties, not so much dependent on being an artist that's just booked elsewhere. You throw your own parties. Your ambition always seems larger than life. Do you attribute that to these business people that you've attached yourself to, like Boss Boo? Like from the beginning, you saw the blueprint and thought, I don't just want to be somebody who's maybe has controlled by other factors. I want to be having like control my own destiny rather.
Yeah, I think that's where the business head came in. You know, where I put my ambitions as a DJ and I combined them with the business side of things to say, okay, cool. If I can fill up a stadium as a DJ, run my own bars and sell tickets, then all the money is coming to me, you know? I don't have to ask anyone else to believe in the vision that I'm seeing. Let me try and put everything together and see if I can risk it and do it, you know? And I started small, you know, small parties, charging $50, $20. And I got the experience from there, you know, where I started working with like security companies, pay them on time, make sure that everything and the experience working with me was quite cool. Booking one DJ a night, you know, making sure that they're well taken care of and they get paid on time, you know. And over the years, you get your reputation becomes cool, you know, where now I ended up being in a position where I can hire the same security company that I was using for 3-4 years, paying them on time, and say, bro, you know, I pay, you know. So like, I want to take this risk, do this thing on a bigger scale, you know, but I need to maybe pay you half after the event. And then they're like, cool, because I know you're going to pay me, you know. And then artists as well. It's like, bro, please come through. Can I just pay you after the event? And because of the track record, people start like trusting that you will, you know, production. You can go bigger because you're not relying on how much you have on your pocket, but you're now reliant on how much you can push the event. So now my focus then became marketing the shows and not worry about the logistics of the events, you know. And that really helped me because after the event, you pay everyone, Salaga 2 ranta, it's fine, but everyone is paid, the event is growing, you know. And then after some time, some other people start seeing your efforts, like sponsors, and they're like, okay, there's a movement here. It's authentic. It's not forced. You know, there's no business person behind this thing that's going to want to bulldoze us into giving them a lot of money. You know, so they come to you. They found you're very like hungry. You know, and the first time they'll give you branding, and because you have like a brand at your event, it makes you look cool. It makes the consumer feel like they can bank on you because a big corporate did, you know. And then you start realizing that actually these brands are jumping onto something that I've built, but they're just giving me branding to make them look cool.
Right.
You know? After some time, you're like, okay, you've been riding on me, and I've been seeing that.
and a lot of them actually do that.
Yeah, you know. And then you're like, actually, no, I'm giving you free marketing. You know, toilet, you know.
Yeah.
And then that's how you start seeing, okay, I got that 50. Next day it's 100, And then after some time, you're like, okay, cool, guys, let's chat. Like,
let's put
saying?
real money on the table.
Yeah.
Now, just staying on that topic as well, because building something is not easy. And you do take a lot of risks in creating these events. And we can go back again to the beginning of those days when you trial and error and trying to gain people's trust. I know sometimes things just go wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Kid events, whether kid cancellation, the artist, whether it's
or the rain.
Cancels an entire event.
Yeah.
And even if you're trying to build these good relationships, I mean, I can imagine that sometimes things go so wrong that there's friction.
Sure.
Can you talk to us about a time where you were like, hey, I'm in trouble here because people are now, they're on my back about something that I promised and I'm unable to deliver, even though I can clearly explain what things went wrong here.
Yeah, no, I've never put myself in a position where I'm in a position that I can't control, you know.
Okay.
Like the only thing that I can say was bad is it's just the weather, you know. And even through the weather, people are there because they can see, okay, this guy really tried to put everything in place, but the weather just messed things up, you know. And people come there with an attitude that says we are going to party through the rain because they appreciate the efforts, you know. With artists and stuff, you know, like I always say, man, the best thing is to tell the truth. You know, if you were late in paying a deposit and the artist took another booking, just say it out, man. Like, okay, guys, I messed up. I didn't pay on time. And like this guy took another booking, but I have a solution. You know, people are more prone to taking you seriously that you at least went the extra mile to fix the mistake that you did. You know, like even with events, like when you start, there's a lot of things that you don't know. You know, you don't anticipate the numbers, so you hire like less toilets, and that now like fucks with the experience of the consumer, you know. And then when people complain about those things at your event, you don't say, yeah, but you guys bought tickets last minute, so I couldn't prepare on time.
Right.
You know? You just say, guys, okay, I'm sorry, the experience was not the greatest, but I'll improve the next time, you know. And the nice thing about me doing stuff in Tembisa is that people really understood that I'm really trying, you know, like it's stuff that was never been done before in Tembisa. Like no one did a show at a stadium. I was probably the first person to do like a full-on event in December at a stadium with big production, you know. So they understood that. So they also were a bit reliant, you know, to say, okay, sharp, but next time, please just fix this. You know?
You started on Christmas Day, huh?
Yeah.
You took the most important day there, so I'm also going to be a part of this day.
Have you never been to a one-man show?
I've never been to a Shimza one-man show because that Christmas for me is my mind. I grew up... First of all, I grew up with Mafikeng. Second of all, it's always one of those things. I only experienced that when I first moved to Joburg, that people party on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So I always be like, my friends would be like, yeah, eat lunch with your family, and when you're done, we're going to go groove. To me, that's so unnatural. So I remember seeing all these flyers.
Did you feel like a heathen?
So I remember seeing all these flyers, Shimza, and at that time, when I first moved to Joburg, I think your party was like the biggest Christmas party that I knew. So I used to think, hey, people are really going to go out there and rock. And then you see the videos. Sometimes you see the lineup, you're like, people are really going to pull up to this thing. I learned, I was like, you know what, I think I'm from a small town. We tend to relax on a thingy. When it comes to the big city.
Parties till...
Oh my gosh. Shimza has way too much footage of me from one man show that he shouldn't have. Neither should I have.
No,
I don't think anybody needs to see that stuff.
What about your family? What about you? He's from Tembisa. He can say, I'm throwing my party at home.
Like I'm on 11.
I come late. I get with my family the whole day. And then come nighttime, then I say, okay, well, moms are sleeping, so.
But I won't judge you guys. At least you guys are working.
Exactly.
All you're doing is your job. The rest of us who are coming there, we are the ones who must make the decision of how much time you guys are, I guess, doing for your families.
Yeah, man. But talking about one man show, I think that's one of the big festivals that I think everybody can always attest to. They always say, yo, man, Shimza makes sure he comes through. And the beautiful thing about it is obviously that the proceeds also still go back to Tembisa. It's not about taking from Tembisa, but also giving back to the hood. Why is that so important for you to actually then say, I'm not going to pocket this money? Because you could easily make bank just on Christmas and then sleep the rest of the year. But you're saying, you know what, let's take this money back to the hood.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Like, you know, when I started my one-man show, it's because I was home alone, you know, on Christmas Day. My mom went to her parents' place in Nelstroom, you know. And I was like, I'm not going there. I'm going to stay here, you know. But I was alone at home, and I was like, okay, there are a lot of people that are probably chilling with me, like chilling alone like me, you know, on Christmas Day. Everyone else is with their families, and there are people that actually could go to Groove because they don't have families. Like people leave Botranskaya and they come to Johannesburg for work, and they've got work on the 26th or the 27th, you know. And I just decided that, okay, cool, I'm going to do this for the people that actually want to chill on Christmas, you know. But I took the thinking beyond just party people and people who could afford to buy tickets. And I was like, there are people who are with their families, but there are people that don't have families, you know. And then that's where I thought, you know, I'm going to create this Christmas experience for these kids during the day from orphanages around Tembisa, bus them into the stadium, cook for them, make sure that they they leave, we have the party, and then part of the proceeds, we buy those kids like school shoes for the next year, you know, so that they can also be like every other kid, like when they go back to school the next year with brand new shoes, you know. I think it would boost their morale, you know. They would be looking forward to going to school, other than them going to school with like a shoe and a lingbo or something.
Sure.
So I had to start in my hood, obviously, you know, help out there. And now we've grown beyond Tembisa. It's like Alex, Soweto, you know, like surrounding Dikasia, surrounding Tembisa, you know, Poma Melody, you know. So I'm hoping that in the future we can do a whole big festival where we just bus in these kids and they have like the greatest Christmas Day experience for them, you know, and then hopefully the money also contributes to their school uniforms and fees for the next year.
Who would you say instilled that in you? Because it seems like something from the beginning that you've always had, you know, I'm going to be successful in my own right, but I'll never forget helping people. And it's beyond Tembisa, like you're saying. You're trying to make it just a part of who Shimza is known as. Can you attribute that to somebody in your life who kind of put that, because it seems, it comes across as very genuine when no one is forcing you to give money to anybody, and you certainly can pocket a lot of money, but you choose not to from the beginning, like I said, can you attribute that to somebody in your life that you thought maybe, or taught you, you know what, I think it's important not just to give back, but to do it from a good place?
I think for Nacho, like, you know, so I see these things.
Sure.
You know, like, for instance, I used to take a train to school, you know, I would walk, like, it's like maybe a 30-minute walk, 40-minute walk to the train station. So then at some point, like, I was raised by a single parent. My dad actually passed on when I was still very young, you know. So those walks to and from the train station, from home and from the train station to school, like my shoe never lasted like the whole year, you know. I remember at some point I had to put in like a plastic
Oh no,
to make a plan.
Because I had like a hole in my shoe,
yeah,
you know. And like as you grow up and you've got excess money, you sort of realize that Joe, like it doesn't hurt helping the next person with the little that you have, you know. And now because I'm from a community, like I'm one of the very few DJs that can say I have my entire hood behind them. Like not a lot of artists have that, you know. Like my foundation is strong from where I come from. So when I do have an opportunity to give back to the same community that has my back, I should always do that. And that's why I decided when I could eventually open up my first restaurant, it needs to be in the hood where I can employ the people from my hood first. Try it out there, test it out, make sure that we make the mistakes with the menus and how to run the restaurant there, you know, because they've got patience for me. They understand what we've done.
You're abusing your fans, that's what you're saying. Because now you can have something funny on the menu and say,
and then they tell you personally.
I never so, you know.
That's the thing of keeping it in the family. If Shimza or some we're not gonna tell them on socials. When people from outside come, but
exactly. So like the people from my hood also take pride in in everything that I do, which is something that I'm really grateful for, where like you really have real people that support you. You know, that's why when like people make noise on socials, it's like, okay, I understand like Twitter is just people that don't really know me, that probably don't even support my shit. You know, it's like they're just there to just blast or just make fun or whatever, you know. I know for a fact that I've got people on the ground, like I've got people that understand that if they contribute to my success, I don't take that success and rub it in their faces. They know that I take that same success and I try and make sure that I bring it back to the hood before moving anywhere else, you know.
That's very testament to the type of person that you are and your upbringing. So big ups to your mom for raising somebody with good morals. Because, you know, when success comes, all of a sudden, you know, they're too cool for them to be going back home or for them to be even trying to grow the places that they come from. So I think it's really dope that you've decided that that's part of who you are and that's part of your brand as well. Sure. And maybe you need a key to Tembisa or something. I don't know. Do we do that here?
I don't know if we do that. Call it... or like a Shimza Avenue, something, Shimza Boulevard, Stratanyana, something.
Something, but please make sure there's no traffic or funny things happening on the streets, because you don't need that like bad PR that's going to be, you know. But I don't know, maybe we can submit there for you and make sure something
it will happen. You know, it will happen.
It'll definitely happen. But of course, those are you know, awesome stories about the type of person that you are, the type of upbringing that you have, but also testament to maybe say what kind of built your career and going back into your career and the type of DJ that you are. I think a lot of people obviously had seen you at various places, like you're saying, Willie used to plug you for different events and stuff. But do you think the turning point for your career kind of came in when you got into YFM for YTKO?
Obviously, I got into that space, but don't forget that before YFM, I was already like popping gogas. You know, Abantola. I was not a nobody then. You know, YFM actually was booking me for the events before I was on the station.
Oh, dope. Okay.
You know, yeah. So like, they really put me on. They really took me to the next level, where like Brawili's groundwork now had like something to lean on, you know, to say, here's this boy that I was telling you about, he's now on YFM, you can catch him on YFM, you know. And that's where I got to now. The promoters that used to book me for 1.5, we can now negotiate for like 2.5, you know.
Yesterday's price.
It's
not today's price, please.
You know. So like the YFM really put me on to the point where like it even helped grow my shows in Tembisa, because I was part of the staff, I could then get discounts on the airtime that I was buying on the station, you know. So I would like really pump my December shows on YFM. They would come through like with the branding there, and now the association also gives you credibility. And that's how my show sort of grew, you know. And also my brand as a DJ, you know, more people knew about it, more people tuned into the station. And I think the station was like more, like it had more impact then. You know, and I was happy to be part of that whole generation of that that Y generation.
What do you think the current relationship of radio and DJs is? Because I feel like we've lived in many eras in South Africa where DJs were really, you know, not only were they popping in the streets, when they were on radio, it seemed like there was a nice symbiotic relationship. Now we're living in a different kind of era, I believe, in the era of personalities, in the era of online, especially, and how big it is. What do you think the current relationship of South African radio versus its DJs is? Do you think that's a good relationship that's currently happening?
It's sharp, but I feel like as soon as a DJ becomes bigger than the station, it then becomes a problem for the station.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like you've got a story to tell us.
No,
Shimza.
I don't. I just feel like I wanna like let's take for instance like a DJ Spoo. You know, like he was fired because he felt he he was using the stations. Okay, they felt like he was using the station's platform to promote his own brand, you know. And when a station can't really tame you, like DJ Spoo, to say, hey, this is the line, you don't cross. And when they do cross, it then becomes a big problem because they're also corporates, you know. They,
of course,
they do their own thing the way they are used to doing it, you know. So I feel like when we are in an era where DJs are not just DJs anymore. You know, Bomis Cosmo Marixati Eyelash, you know, and traditional media sort of wants you to just be the DJ, you know. And when you start doing other things and trying to use that platform, it then becomes a problem, which I think that's why a lot of people start opening up their own stuff on the side
and everything.
But times are changing, you know, and I think we should adjust here and there.
Times are definitely changing, and I think it's also kind of testament to how things grow. As you had mentioned, you've also got a very, I don't know, should I say volatile relationship with social media?
No,
you know, I don't think it's a volatile, you know, and I'm glad you bring that up because, you know, not from a distance, right? Seeing Shimza, I've always seen him, like you come across as a very shy guy or a very soft-spoken guy.
Yeah.
And this entire time, maybe outside of social media, there's never been any sort of controversy around the name Shimza.
Yeah.
Everything that we were talking about, that we opened up with all the positive stuff, with Toy Spanelang, who reps his hood, that's always been the talk about Shimza.
Yeah.
Until now you're saying maybe most recently you see on social media or people are fighting the Shimza, and it seems out of character. Or it seems like I totally Shimza this thing. Or and whether you're defending yourself or standing your ground or trying to explain a simple thing, like you said about social media earlier, social media is like the jungle, and people don't really care about the truth or who's right or who's wrong. How about it's fuck Miss Cosmo today? It's just easy to stay on that bandwagon than to say no, guys. Miss Cosmo, what she meant was. Shut up.
Yeah, man. So even with that relationship and how things are kind of changing, especially with what Sipo's talking about, how it's also sometimes affects how people then view you. And maybe it could even possibly even affect how they support you, because you built a lot of your brand based on the support that you have from your fans, the support that you have from Tembisa. And now social media kind of comes in a space where you could either be made or cancelled or become a superstar overnight, because that's just the type of a world that we're living in now. Whereas before with traditional media, it had to kind of be like a gradual thing where your career could kind of grow in a certain direction. How do you feel social media has kind of changed things for you particularly, for your brand? Do you think it's a place where you can just go there and express yourself and then be off, or is it something that you also utilize to kind of grow the brand that is Shimza?
Here's one thing, Ms. Cosmo. You need to understand what you're dealing with here. You know, like the internet is not a place. It's not a place like it's not this. We are at
it's not
Onyx.
physical.
Yes, we are at Onyx now.
Yeah.
And we tend to forget that the biggest thing that we are dealing with are human beings, people who live, that can touch you, that can be with you and feel what you are doing. And you can't tell me that if Agabola Moto, like I always say to my friends, like when they say, you're trending again because you said X, Y, and Z, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I understand that space because that's what they want, you know? That's what the internet wants.
So you're feeding into the monster.
But when you walk, like you can trend now, like for Barotot's tender and you stole money, like, okay, cool, whatever. And you leave this place and you walk into the mall. Nah? And you ask yourself, okay, do these people know that I'm trending on Twitter? And you find that 9 out of 10 of those people, they don't know what the hell's going on Twitter, you know? But now we are stuck in this era where brands take what the internet says about you and they make it gospel.
Yeah.
You know, like right now, I can trend for whatever reason. And you would think that my people won't go to my business because they think maybe Kutwa Chalet or whatever.
Yeah.
You go there today, it's full of people that are not in that space where people strive of trying to cancel you.
Yeah.
Understand? So I deal with the physical being that will come to the show, that will buy tickets, that will support my music. Those are the people that I concentrate on, not the people that make the noise on Twitter.
So when you engage with them, because sometimes you also have the choice to ignore it.
No.
But you also then feed the monster. You also come into it.
Because I always say, I did not kill anyone. Or one other day where when someone comes and says, Miss Cosme says you raped them, then I'll take the PR route to say, okay, let me step back, let me get legal advice, whatnot, sharp. But till that day, when you say, Ashley, fuck you, I'm going to say fuck you too, because I am human before being Shimza.
Yeah.
You know, and if what you're saying I don't agree with about me, that you want people to, you want to put in that idea of the type of person that I am to people that don't know me. And lawyer, maybe you don't know me, you know, but you have your own ideas of who I am, and you want to tell other people that this is the idea that I have of Ashley, and that's the right thing. I'm going to tell you, no, that's not who I am, you know? And you must not try and tell other people how to view who I am. So that's why I always engage with them, you know, and
social media definitely is about, it's like apologizing to people individually.
Yes.
People want you to go online, no matter what has happened, and even if at times where you may have misunderstood the situation or misspoke, like I bought tomorrow and thought, I know, Miss Cosmo, that interaction, I misunderstood you, whatever. Because I remember, just like with recent things that have happened, you going back and forth with people saying, okay, I understand you a little bit better.
Exactly.
Okay, no, I understand. And those type of, but no one cares about that. After the fact, something that happened, no one cares about. Even if you come back tomorrow and start apologizing completely, guys, I'm so sorry, whatever. No one cares about that. You'll never see that apology or that understanding that comes after the fact ever getting the same traction, because people don't want that. Even if they pretend as if they want apologies, but even when you do apologize, no one cares anymore. It's all about today, Royana, it's fuck Shimza. So when I say fuck Shimza, from 12 p.m. until 12 a.m.
And you need to understand that. You need to understand that. So when it's your day, you know,
it's your day.
When it's your day on Twitter, it's your day.
But just sit there and take it.
Don't even take it. Switch off your phone. Mute the conversation. Carry on with your life. Because like I said, people are shouting on Twitter. But when you walk out on the street, there are millions of people that don't know anything about that. And they see you for who they know you to be, you know. And most of the times when stuff is going on Twitter, it's just people that are trying to push what their idea of you is and not who you really are.
I hear that. Speaking about that, maybe there's just one thing that I think maybe we need to also engage on, because people will always have this idea of who Shimza is online and the connections that you have, and you might possibly get certain deals, or I don't know what you want to call it, maybe opportunities as a favor. And there's this big conversation that happens on social media about how we should be managing our relationships and how we get brand work and how we get political work, or whatever the case may be. Do you think it's one of those things where as a businessman, also as a celebrity, that you aren't allowed to have relationships, political relationships, to further your own brand? Or do you think those two need to be separated?
Miss Cosmo, for a person that knows the type of person that I am, you know that I work. Like I say, it's not a secret. It's not something that other people, like you guys know, I put in the work, you know? And when now you want to say, when government says there's funding for events, right?
Yeah.
And every South African can apply for this funding. Are you saying because I am Shimza and because you guys think I have this political whatnot that can take my submission without a tax clearance, with no proposal, with no requirements, and just put it there and I'll get funding for it? It doesn't work like that, bro. Like, there are real people that are working in those offices that need to make sure that the money that is there, that is actually meant for such things, is going to the right people in the right way. And if there is a way that that money goes somewhere and they find out that it went somewhere without the right procedures, you are going to get caught and it's going to be a problem for you. And do you think with the work that I've put in over the years without support from anyone, I would want to risk all that work for like a mere 20,000 rand of support from government? I wouldn't, bro. Like, I'd rather work and lose money the way I was losing money 10 years ago when no one was supporting me.
Yeah.
You know? So I wouldn't risk all that work to do like weird shit. Like cutting corners, giving people kickbacks. Because I know if that shit comes out, I will fuck up everything that I worked hard for. And that's why when people want to downplay my hard work and sort of say, no, he's not a hard worker, he just has connections, I'm like, fuck you. Like, I worked from day one to get to where I am right now. And the people that are supporting me because they've seen the work that I've been doing consistently every year.
Do you think that, I think in general what it is that we live in a country that is so, when it comes to politics, nobody has trust there. So anybody who moves anywhere near politics just gets solid in by the thing.
It's not even just politics, bro. Like this past weekend, I won a DSTV award. Yeah. And some people on Twitter were saying, yeah, it's the ANC connections. Are you fucking crazy? Are you mad?
Yeah.
You know, I was probably the only DJ in that category that was actually pushing people to vote for me. Yeah. You know, I put in the work.
And it's a Viewers' Choice Awards, which means the viewers were voting.
Understand? Like, even with the thing that happened at Hangout, you know, I built that business out of my own money. It cost me millions to set it up. And then one day, the Department of Tourism says we are doing something in townships and we are going to go to Hangout in Tembisa because we've been seeing this restaurant. We want to go there and sort of contribute towards that establishment. No, he got it because his girlfriend is he works for whatnot. Understand? Like, so what are you saying? Are you saying my establishment is not good enough for big corporates and government to come do their events there?
Yeah.
Everybody wants support, but they don't want they want their own support. But if I'm not getting supported, then Miss Cosmo, when she gets the support, it's fuck her.
It's like
everybody wants the support, and we cry about government. Come support the kids. Come do this. Come put money into businesses. But as soon as they do, as long as it's not my business getting it, then I must shit on the next guy because it's like, bro, he got it because of A, B, and C.
And it's like, bro, like raspana, Joe. You know, artwenye moto, like even if you see, like in the industry, like I'm always like with just my friends. I don't fight with anyone. It's just people that constantly want to find something to say, yeah, no, he's not successful because he works. It's because Ujolale Miss calls. Understand? And that's a shit mentality of the people around us, man. Like if Mojo was pan, and I'm not saying everyone that gets stuff is through the right channels, you know, but look at my track record, bro.
Yeah. And you're right. I mean, something would definitely come up. Something would leak if you were doing something incorrectly. So I think people also just need to sit back and then say, you know, how about we appreciate the good that's actually happening as opposed to trying to beat it down, because it's not going to get us anywhere at the end of the day.
It's not going to trend on Twitter.
Exactly.
You know,
they're trending in the streets.
Yeah. You know, like you do a lot of good shit, man. Like, and if you ever look at the likes and retweets as success, you will never do anything. You know, like I did a workshop in my hood. Miss Cosmo was there. Hundreds of producers, DJs came through there. They learned the whole day. I didn't ask for any money from anyone, but nothing happened on Twitter, you know? And if I took that and I was like, fuck it. Like, okay, I got one retweet for saying I did something good for my community, then I'm not going to do it anymore, you know? Because the same people, when you go there and say, yeah, guys, I did this thing, you guys didn't say anything. And then they're going to say, okay, so what did you expect us to do? You wanted us to clap for you. You know? You understand?
And you know what you're saying there is actually quite interesting because now I think people who grew up in the age of social media, people are encouraged and discouraged too much about what's going on online. If I start a business today, the first thing I'm gonna go is I'm gonna start an Instagram page, I'm gonna start a Facebook, I'm gonna start a Twitter. And if those pages don't pop, not the work that I'm actually doing to make the thing happen. You know what I'm saying? Because you must actually do the work. Doesn't matter what I've started. But the thing that exists, like you said, in real life, must be able to touch it, come to my business, come to my party.
Make money.
I'm gonna be crying about retweets and reposts instead of actually doing the money.
Sheva, no, like even this past weekend, I've been punting my show online. You know, like, hey guys, I'm doing a show, I'm coming back home. Like on the 26th, I'm having a show in Braamfontein. Like 20 retweets, 18, like 100, you know? And if I took that as response from people, I would have said, this one is not going to work. You know, I must cancel this thing, you know? And I just went on. You know, I went on, the show sold out. You know, without that hype of like Twitter saying, yeah, we are going to Shimza's thing. We are doing this, we are doing, like, I put in the work. I went on the streets, I put up posters, I got a street team doing flyers everywhere, you know, because I understand that the people on the ground are the ones that you need to worry about. The people you can touch, you can feel, you can speak to.
And I think people have kind of forgotten about that traditional marketing because they rely too much on social media for anything to happen, where people don't feel like they need to print a flyer and go and hand them out or put up a poster or even do an activation or go to a certain place and say, yo, my event is happening this weekend, please buy tickets. And it also goes to show how you always have your mind on what's happening on the ground, and you always have your mind on what to do next from an eventing perspective, which also kind of brings us to what you is now, as well as with Kunye. You've brought something unique to the eventing space where you're not selling tickets, but you want people to come. You know, it's a different kind of approach. Can you let us know what the thinking is around this event and why it's so successful?
The thing is, Real Moya, we are Garbampir.
Yeah.
You know, the market is, okay, everyone is going this way, let's all do this. Everyone's going that way, let's do that, you know. And I took a different approach. And I remember one day I was sitting with my friends and I was like, guys, like, you see this piano wave, like it's crazy and it's coming, you know. And if we sit back and not do anything, for us people that don't want to cross over to that side and like we still want to keep our sound, I was like, we have to do something about it, you know. And quite frankly, our sound never had a face. You know, it was like just a sound, whatever. When you think piano, you think, okay, there's Maporisa, there's Gabza. When you think hip hop, there's AKA, there's Casper. You know, when you think Mpakanga, there's who's the guy from KZN? Kuzani. You know, when you think Gom, there's Tira, and you know, and when you think Afrotech, it's like you know, and I was like, actually, guys, I remember telling Doc, and I was like, bro, I'm gonna take this thing, and I'm going to make sure that I'm the face of it. You know, I'm gonna push it every day. I'm gonna do events that speak to that, and when I want to be the reference point for the sound, because I feel like it doesn't have a face, you know. But what that does is that once people put a face to the sound, they start following the face, which the face is playing the sound.
Right.
And when the face starts speaking about other faces, people then take what that face is saying and they go and they check out what the face is saying they must go check out, you know? And what that does is that it helps the movement grow bigger. You know, like a Pori and Kabza will say, I'm the face of this sound, but check this guy out.
Yeah.
They go and they check Young Stana. They start following Young Stana. He grows. The music grows, you know? And I felt like I had to play that role for our sound, which is Afrotech and Afro House. And that's where you sort of saw the change, you know, the actual shift, where Miss Cosmo that knows me for like just being a DJ, I'm now inviting Miss Cosmo to my space. She's a hip hop DJ. When other people start seeing Miss Cosmo's face supporting this thing from Shimza, then her audience start being interested in what this thing is.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where we started seeing the growth of the Kunye movement. We started like 15 people, me, Miss Cosmo, Boniwe on a Sunday rooftop playing the sound, and now Miss Cosmo comes back every week because it's something fresh to her. She's enjoying the vibe because it's different to what she would find at an ordinary club in Joburg, And now more people start hearing about this sound and this movement, and that's how it grows,
Definitely. I mean, I can definitely tell you that I felt the influence. I am a hip hop head. Mainly hip hop.
He's getting into Gqom these days.
I'm getting into Gqom, but a lot of my friends and growing up just in general, houses, in South Africa in general, house is a very big genre.
Yeah.
So a lot of my friends and my best friends are house lovers. So when Kunye started to come up and and you guys started posting your mixes online, every time my friends would come to my house, especially half the time I'd be outvoted like I'm the only hip hop guy. But we're gonna please the masses a little bit. We'll get to you, and that's the point I'm saying. And so it's the same way even with like Amapiano. All my friends introducing me more to these sounds. It's not like I don't like house, but it's not like my go-to genre. Yeah. But now I find myself listening to all those mixes of Kunye. And I feel like I'm being reintroduced to guys that already exist. So I'm sitting here going, hey, nigga, of course Ramutla. So I feel like I'm going around putting people on things that they already know about. I'm going with my friends like house parties in Brum. You know what I'm saying? They're saying, no, this guy who was on this list, he's gonna be there. I'm like, cool. I don't know who Kid Funk is, but now I do. But that's just like the expression of like my reintroduction to house. Just because you guys have breathed new energy into the sound. So I can tell you that the influence is definitely real and is definitely being felt. And it's good to see new things come off, especially off the back of COVID, of course, where events had to be downscaled. And you guys, when it started off, it was very exclusive. How do I get a ticket?
People didn't make it.
I never made it anyway. But now I'm hearing Miss Cosmo's name a lot. I'm thinking I didn't take advantage of my own.
You should have. And I think we built such a great following and a family of people that love the sound. Where we see the same faces here and there, bringing more people to our festivals. They're growing bigger, people are loving the sound, they're more receptive to it. And like, I remember at some point when you were to play anything but Amapiano in the club or at a party, people would just stand and like...
They'd even come to you, buddy, and then, Sis, still piano. I've been playing for 15 minutes. Can you give me a chance?
Yeah, so like you're starting to see like... You know what happened with Osama, like there's more music out there that's sort of like not what's really like in the mainstream, starting to come up, and
I was actually about to ask about that because, whenever a song comes out, there's always various attributes to it being a hit song. There's always ways, like obviously you'll attribute it firstly to the artist because they made the song sharp. It's a dope song, but sometimes songs don't pop off the way that they need to pop off. Maybe because it doesn't have the right branding, maybe the marketing is a bit lame, maybe you just put out a link and you're hoping for the best because a lot of artists do that, I don't know why. But obviously with Osama, especially at the time when it dropped, and I think there was obviously that switch where Zexpantwini actually played it at Kunye that one day, and just it going viral on YouTube also kind of changed the face of where the music is going. And so much so that right now Osama's gone 4 times platinum because of a platform like this. Do you see yourself kind of trying to grow more up and coming producers on your platform so that they can have success like that?
Yeah, I mean, you can even see what the lineups that you're putting out, like for Kunye events and it's normally like the guys that are really putting in the work that I feel like they still need the support for more people to know about them, Like perfect example, a Dark or a FKA Mesh, amazing producers, amazing DJs. But like you can see, okay, these people still need the support for them to get to the next level, And I think sometimes we think putting people on has like a certain level, to say, okay, we're putting them on until here. After here, it's on the born, I felt like Zakes realized that the platform that we were creating was not only going to help him, but it was going to put on the guys that he worked with on the songs. And that's where you're now seeing people having an interest in Kaenda Soul, trying to make music with Nana Atta, you know, and that's how we all grow. You know, we keep putting ourselves on so that we can also put other people on. One thought, like, I'll put it bluntly, like Zags was Zags before Osama.
Yeah.
But after Osama, Zags was the superstar that he was. God, clap your hands.
Yeah.
You understand? And that helped him create the next generation that's going to come after him. And being part of that success is something that we can all be proud of.
I want to touch on, like I said, right now, we welcomed you back to South Africa. But you're currently on a world tour. Every time on the show, on POPcast as well, I always say that my favorite thing is always seeing local guys doing really, really big things internationally and getting to Europe. And I know we've spoken about all the hard work you've put in, so that's not an overnight thing for you to be able to be on a world tour like that. What do you think breaks the mold to get to that stage, to be able to be seen internationally and to have a 60-day tour over 3 months in Europe? Like, what do you think for those guys now that are sitting here going, I feel like that's where I'm headed? What do you think is the difference that comes in? Is it changing booking agents? Is it being recognized by the guys, that those relationships we start to form? Where do the guys start to grow and actually must focus on so that they themselves one day can say, that's the path I'm actually trying to reach?
It's having the right team behind you that understands where you want to go and how where you want to go operates. You know, I think a lot of us thought you just wing it the way we wing it in South Africa. You know,
There's a lot of winging happening here.
Yeah, just promote, hey, get DJ, hey, what not? They see you at a show, like, no, Zoala Kusasa. It doesn't work like that at that level.
Yeah.
You know, like, you need to have a proper booking agent. You need to have, like, their management and booking agent are two different things.
Yeah.
You know, and we never used to understand that. You know, we never used to understand that some festivals, like all festivals and all people, like everyone that books artists in the world, they don't speak to artists. You know, they're either speaking to management or to your booking agent. You know, more Joe, Spring Fiesta, Ricardo phone last straight. Mebra, I want you on stage. Do you have time?
Ricardo calls you straight because he doesn't want to pay your actual fee. He wants to pay you the peanuts he's going to offer you because he's calling you direct.
You know,
the discount call.
They'll call you direct and you're like, hey, okay, it's Ricardo, okay, let's do it, bro. Otawan. You know, and that's not how the world works. You know, you need to have a strategy, music planned properly. Like, it's crazy, man.
It is crazy.
So you think the switch up is just being more professional?
Yeah.
I think wishy-washy.
And having the right people working with you.
Isn't it awesome also just to see, because you've been playing internationally for a long time, and now to also see how piano's also kind of taking over the rest of the world. Do you think that piano's also going to have that lasting power that Afrotech is kind of influencing the rest of the world?
It's up to them to make it have that impact. Because if they can always recreate the music and bettering it and making sure that it makes sense to the spaces where they want to be in, then it would have a chance, you know, because they've got the numbers, you know. But also they need to understand that who are the numbers that they have, you know. For me, I think internationally, Amapiano still appeals to the market, Afrobeat, like the market that follows Bowie's Kid and the Burna Boys, and we've seen the groundbreaking that sound has been doing. Like, it goes more accessible to the pop side, where you're seeing Wizkid collaborating with Chris Brown and like a Beyonce doing like an Afrobeat type of song, you know. And I think that's where they can go. But with Afrotech, it's more on a different side, man. Like, it's more aligned to the techno house scene, you know, where it's like high pitched music, almost close to EDM, but there's like and there's an underground scene of the same scene, you know, there's a commercial side of the same scene, which is not mainstream. Understand? So like it's very, it's tricky, man, you know, and like when you look at how the sound is, it's slower, it's more soulful, it's more vocal driven, you know, and when I play overseas, I can see that the crowds that I play to, when I play songs with a lot of vocals, with more melodies and like very deep house type of a feel, they don't really get to them the way the hard stuff that like have hard drums and hard synths, they get to them. So I sort of see how that's like the Amapiano sound would sort of struggle being on the side
on that same stage,
are, you know. So, but like I'm saying, it's up to them to sort of progress the sound and see how it can work. I mean, I'm seeing Vigro is sort of like giving his sound like a very techie sound to try and, you know, and if that works, then he's opened up a different sound that could take him all the way up, you know?
Can I ask, just with regards to like you're mentioning sounds and you're hearing the different melodies and the tempos that kind of go into piano, as you're mentioning, piano is slightly a little bit slower. For anybody who understands BPMs, you'll know it's far lower than what Afro house is, or even just like music that we technically would consider house. Where do you think the disconnect kind of happened with Gqom? Because I think there was also a point where it was also trying to get international, because Gqom also kind of plays in those high pitched type of BPMs, and it just something didn't wobble in the right direction.
Yeah, I think Gqom is more of the innovation of the sound. Okay. You know, I think it's only now that they're sort of coming back with like a different sound. Like I know Drega, you know, who's one of the guys that works with Zakes. He was predominantly a Gqom producer, and now he's like in between Gqom and Afrotech. And you see when you play those songs in Europe, they sort of work because they've got their authentic sound that they're not used to, but it's got elements that they are used to, you know. So it's a bit sweet on the sound, on the ear for them, because they're familiar with some of the sounds, but it's so authentic that it blows them away that, this sounds like what we know, but
something.
Yeah, you know, and I think that's where we are. That's where I think a lot of people sort of who discover me like what I'm doing. They're like, this guy sounds like our favorite European DJs, but he's bringing another flavor to it, you know. And the set that I'll ordinarily play in Europe, some of the songs I wouldn't play here. Because
that was actually gonna be my other question, just to close off that part of this conversation. Oguti, how hard is it then now to saying, okay, I'm an international DJ and I get to tour Europe extensively, and now when you start working on new music, you think about that. You don't just think about your local market. You think about, how am I going to create a sound that has this balance? Do you find yourself, do you think you'll struggle or you'll find it tricky to do exactly that? Put an album out that you think South Africans must enjoy, but also I want people in Europe to also enjoy. When you speak about that disconnect, ring, some songs I wouldn't play locally, but I know they'll pop off that side. How do you find the balance in an album?
Like, I'll be honest with you, man. Like, and this is a conversation that I've been having behind closed doors with my close people, you know. And I was like, bro, I'm when I have to unfortunately stop making music for South Africa.
Right.
Because I have a bigger vision, you know. I'm thinking elsewhere. My thinking and my vision is taking me in a different direction, you know. And I'm like, why do I still worry about making music for people that I feel don't really support the music that I put out for them? You know, like my latest single, Higher, beautiful song, bro. It's in Zulu. It's like it, I just felt like, bro, this works. Like it's a beautiful song for like, but the market just didn't
take to it.
They didn't take to it, and you're like, okay, lebatang here, you know. And when you start making music that doesn't make sense to the market, they say, "Ah, shenshi." You understand?
You know, sold out.
Yeah. So, rating. Do I now still concentrate on the same people that blue tick my music, or do I totally shift and make music that would be appreciated by people that I'm trying to actually get to?
Yeah.
I think that's always kind of the shift that needs to happen, especially when you want to go internationally. Because I mean, the same conversation happens with Trevor Noah, where people are like, yeah, but he's not doing jokes about Cyril Ramaphosa. Yeah, because he's not here anymore, guys. Why are you forcing him to do that? You know, sometimes you also need to adjust your content for the people that you're appealing to. He's going to talk about American comedy more than he is about South Africans. So sometimes there is that sacrifice you need to make.
And then you ask yourself, Ms. Cosmo, okay, what more can I do back here at home? Like,
I think there's a ceiling.
What is it that I haven't done in South Africa that I'm going to do that's going to still make me stand out?
Well, at least now you have the awards, so you can say you've won the awards.
Yeah, and then what is that going to do for me?
I mean, it's an accolade. It's you know, we're clapping for you.
I'm going to use that award to say to the world, I'm an award-winning DJ where I come from.
Nice.
Right? So that proof of product is what I'm going to sell to the world. I'm not going to sell the award to the people that gave me the award.
You've been acknowledged.
So
you must make sure you are always here. You know. But it's beautiful that you actually won that award. And apparently you'd also mentioned, I didn't watch the awards unfortunately, but apparently in your speech you said that you canceled some shows so that you could make it. Why was that important for you to do that?
Because I felt like I was going to put in as much effort as I could to make sure that I have the award. And when I saw that the people that I was with, like the category that I was with, like no one else was actually pushing. I think they know that they've got the numbers behind them. You know, they know that like we sell tickets, we sell music. So our people.
Who were you nominated against?
It was Kabza, Maporisa, Durban Gogo, and myself.
Yeah, I remember the first time those awards happened and I was nominated also for favorite DJ. But then I was also going against Black Coffee. I was like, girl, I don't know. you know, you can push as much as you want. You can market for this for the votes. But obviously Black Coffee took it for that year. But it was deserving for him as well.
Yeah, 100%. And for Nacho, like, I felt like this award came at the right time for me.
Yeah.
You know, like, I feel like I did so much with my gift, which is DJing, not just for me, but for people around me and for the country as well. I mean, I took my DJing and I got you guys through COVID, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I created a DJ show on TV, you know, and we created Kunye, which is DJ driven. You know, we created UR that is DJ driven, that is giving upcoming artists a platform to showcase their sound. People that ordinarily you would never find in a club. You know, Atmos Black, for instance. Beautiful producer that makes Afrotech house, but no one knows about him. We gave these guys like platforms, you know, and because the foundation of everything that I have right now is because of my DJing. You know, if I was not a DJ, I would not be where I am today, you know, and I felt like given the fact that I'm nominated for this thing that means so much to me, I have to give it my all to try and win this thing and make sure that I'm there to actually collect the award if I am given the award, you know. And it happened because I think people felt from the way I was pushing that actually this guy really wants this. I was not going to act cool about it and say whatever, if they vote they vote.
It's in the campaigning at the end of the day. I think if it's in the palm of the viewers and your fans, then you need to give it to them so that they can try and support you the way that they can.
And you know, that thing was a bit complex, man. Like people had to click and they went to go to your website and register, and you know. And people don't want those things. But when if you were like, click here to vote, they click once, then you are cool, you know. But if they still had to go through like a whole process. You have to like give them
Really get into it.
Yeah, man. But big ups on that. And talking about the fact that you got us through lockdown, are we getting another season of lockdown? Well, obviously you can't call it lockdown house party, but like another type of
But
show.
it can stay. You think it has bad connotation? Like people are gonna get together.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's monkeypox now, so we don't know. It might be going back.
Yeah, I think we're working on season 2 for UR, which has nothing to do with lockdown.
Yeah.
It's just a TV show that showcases our sound and the vibe that is at the party. You know, so people who don't really go out can still have a party at home and enjoy the music.
Yeah, no, the reason why I'm asking specifically about that is because you also included different genres when it came to Lockdown House Party, which I think also kind of helped and also even catapulted a lot of DJs in their careers. I know Dobin Goko always attributes her being on Lockdown House Party to having helped her career. Ryan the DJ also felt like he got like a big shift and a new fan base because of the show.
Yeah.
So would you go into at least giving other genres a space on your TV shows, not just like UR, which is only for Afrotech?
Definitely. And I think the door is open with Channel, you know, and like I was saying to my team this past weekend, because when I was at the awards, I met a lot of the guys that work at DSTV, you know, and I was like, actually, there's an opportunity for us to create stuff that can go onto TV because we've got the access now, you know. So it's up to us to just create stuff that really makes sense for them to jump onto.
Nah, it's good. I think the evolution of seeing people like yourself being able to adapt even in tough times and come out on the other side maybe even stronger is something that's very encouraging for people who are watching at home. Not only your entire history or where you come from, but even to this day where it could be very, very easy for you to just focus on Shimza and just do your own thing, never have to open up doors, but to continue to evolve off the back of COVID. I think it's a really, really dope moment. And winning the award yesterday, maybe, is it yesterday?
Over the weekend.
Over the weekend.
Yes.
Over the weekend. It's like this thing is going to air right now. But yeah, I think it's a big up not just to you, but to your entire movement and everything that you've done. So I think you should really be proud of yourself. Outside of having to search for votes or ask people, I think it's something that you actually deserve.
Yeah, man.
Thanks,
and I think everybody is definitely celebrating and appreciating the work that you've put in, because you are one of those DJs who's always been about putting on other people, but also putting on yourself and putting on a sound and putting on TV productions, events. It takes a lot of work to be that kind of person, because some people can literally just say, I'm just going to go to gigs and take my money and go home. But you saw a bigger vision, and that's what I think encompasses being a favorite DJ, because you're literally touching all the points of being a DJ. So big ups to you for that.
Thanks,
and thank you so much for joining us on Pop Radio.
Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming through. And of course, we're going to keep on supporting. We're going to keep on watching how you take yourself to the rest of the world. Before we close off, one international festival that you are dying to play at, but you haven't really gotten, the phone call.
No, I got the phone call for Tomorrowland. And then because of
clashes.
COVID,
Oh man,
it had to be cancelled. So I'm waiting for the next
one.
But I think next year is looking very good.
If they called before, then they haven't lost your number.
Yeah. I mean,
unless you changed it.
No. I mean, now I've really got a solid team.
Yeah.
The past 2 years, I've been working very hard in creating a team that's going to work for me internationally, and I think finally I've got like.
Nice.
A bar.
Shout outs. That was a slow start there. Shout outs to you, Shimza. Thank you so much for joining us on Pop Radio. We really appreciate you. Keep on pushing. Like I said, we'll keep on supporting. And yeah, man, we'll see what's next.
Yes.
Much love.
Thank you, guys.
Oh man, what a dope conversation with Shimza. He definitely opened up today and, got us into the intricacies of who he is and the brand and the music, man.
Absolutely. I'm loving his journey, the stories that he was able to share with us, and his honesty as well. I don't like people who mince their words too much. He was very clear on why he does what he does. For anything that people think it would be controversial, he made it very clear what his stance was. And yeah, man, really, really dope chat with him. Also good to see all the amazing international things he's about to unfold in his life. Really, really dope chat.
He's a dope guy, and I think with that, it's also it's awesome to kind of see the trajectory trajectory he's kind of taken from the beginning to where he is right now. And I honestly feel like there's so much more he's going to achieve in the world. And it's really dope to kind of, have a backseat view to that and just say, hey, man, my brother, we got you, we're supporting you. So keep on supporting the brother, man. That's all he really needs.
Yes, sir. Lots of nuggets from the homie. And like you said, he has so many layers to him.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited to see what the next chapter of his career is going to bring. Not just to himself, but to even local artists.
100%, man. All right, so that is our Pop Radio episode for this week. Do keep joining us every week on this YouTube channel. Of course, keep on liking, subscribing. You got to make sure you're with us and commenting. Share. Of course, please do share. And of course, we'll be back with another hot episode of POPcast and Pop Radio right here.
Yes, sir.